Hello, friends. Mr. Squiggs here. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of Waiting for the Cows to Come Home. Sorry, I'm just kidding. It's Soviet SimCity, by which I mean Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. So, last time we did a bit of a deep dive into the economics just to make sure that we could sustain our current level of spending for at least another 6 months, which is the minimum amount of time it's going to take us to get some critical infrastructure built. Before I even do anything else, I'm going to jump right in, take a quick review of what's going on, what's being built in my border towns here, and see what infrastructure is missing that I still need to build. Okay, so it may seem a little bit rudimentary what I've been doing here, but I'm just trying to wrap up and put a nice bow on having all the essential infrastructure that we need for this town of Windsor. Garbage infrastructure, waste collection infrastructure is really important, and it's actually kind of hard for me to gauge. It's giving me the walking distances here. The walking distances are not at all the same as the garbage collection distances. You can see that here. So, the game is thinking of this as a construction site where workers are going to walk to. So you get sort of the standard walking distance range of 300 to 400 meters that people are willing to walk, depending on the quality of the paths. So it looks like I get a lot of coverage, right? But in reality, no one's walking 400 meters to throw their garbage away, right? If I look at this one, which is pretty close to the center, the furthest one is 120 meters, right? So we really are going to need lots and lots of these little garbage stands to collect it all, especially if the population ever grows. It may seem like overkill right now, but a lot of these houses are half empty. They may get emptier still before we ever get any growth, but this is our most livable town so far, where we're most likely to have growth. And we're sort of transitioning. If we look at the networks down here, these ones in red remind you what's most important. It's the ones in red, and then it's the ones in green, basically. And then we'll get to some production. But basically all I'm missing now is heating. We've got electricity for this town. We've got water and sewage under construction. We've got waste collection under construction and a waste truck already ready. I don't want to buy a bunch of trucks. And the thing is, every single one of these homes has its own mixed waste container. And actually, one of the things I noticed at the beginning, we weren't getting much waste production when no one was buying anything. But now we've got a shop fully stocked. Once it's got drinking water, once it's got electricity and its waste is being taken away, once all the needs of this shopping center are met, people really are going to increase, the throughput's going to increase. Right now, people have to wait. So they go the minimum that they possibly can. In reality, this is going to increase over time, and I do believe that this is what causes these homes to start producing a bit more garbage, right? This home's been here for months. It should have more garbage than this, but I think it's linked to their consumption. It's just like the water and the sewage. They are not complaining that there's no sewage access, even though there's not, because there's also no water access, right? So as soon as water's flowing, clean water's flowing, all these homes are going to complain, and it's going to say health risk. It would say sewage tank overfilled, health risk. Same thing with the waste. If it overflows, it impacts negatively the health. It creates localized pollution. So do we want to buy a whole bunch of garbage trucks to go one by one to every single house and just collect the 1% of their capacity that is overfilling that house? No, I want every house to be in range of these collective garbage stands. One day when we've researched waste separation, we'll be able to also control whether there's recycling or compost or whatever, which is another bonus that will help us manage our waste better later. But even at the beginning, I bet I can service this whole town with 1 or 2 garbage trucks, but only if we have the necessary storage for the waste to safely build up and safely accumulate without causing any pollution, right? And that's sort of the magic of a metal box with a lid. If everything is properly closed, the waste will sit there for quite some time, pretty much inert, not hurting anybody. But obviously, if we don't collect it, it will build up in people's homes, and nobody wants that. So it may seem like overkill, it may seem rudimentary, but it's just like the water or the power. It's essential. I am glad because we can finally move into this green part a little bit. We can look at maybe something for children. Maybe a school and or kindergarten could be thought of and planned at this point. And we have some prime real estate for those right in the center of our town. So I am seriously considering planning that next. Might just wait a little longer for a few more things to be completed. But you know what? No, I think I'm going to go ahead and place at least a kindergarten or a school, because to be honest, I don't know if all these garbage stands and all these switches and pumps, I don't know if they need cranes, right? I want to optimize the use of our construction equipment. Oh, you're not assigned. Okay. Yeah, and to be honest, I think we should always have at least one building going at a time. Yeah, so I might plan one more building here. Okay, so the next priority for Windsor would probably be kindergartens. Um, I'm gonna wait till the school is complete or mostly complete. Why did I take the smallest, cheapest school possible? I could have fit a larger one in the same footprint. Well, as you can see, there isn't really anywhere, even close to the geographic center of town, there isn't anywhere that was going to service all of these houses. And these houses are not going to really be upgraded to higher density, not for a long, long time. It's much more likely that denser neighborhoods get built around later. So actually, ironically, the most dense schools in terms of the number of students I need to service, I won't end up building them at the center of the town. I'll build bigger schools sort of on the edge of town to service the people who get missed, the homes that get missed, as I build denser housing out there in the far future. So, I don't want to bus students ridiculously short distances at this time. We've only got the one bus station in our town, and it doesn't have everyone's homes in range either. So really, there's no situation where we can just put one school and be done. Eventually, most of these towns are already big enough that they're going to need multiple schools. So fine to take the absolute smallest, cheapest one. It'll satisfy most of the town for now, and eventually others will get built later. So for now, I'm going to wait. I might hit play. I just want to zip over to La Belle Province, Quebec, and what's over there, Sherbrooke, and see how things are going here. Unless I'm misremembering, we're at a similar stage here, and I need to double check all my infrastructure. I will push play just because I'd rather do my construction and planning in daylight, but I'm sure specifically that Quebec, Trois-Rivières, Montreal, we are definitely going to be missing some infrastructure here. Okay, so we have planned sewage infrastructure for this region. I need to do the pedestrian footpath still, but I did make a key decision, which was sewage for Montreal. Obviously, I'm not going to dump into this pond where our fresh water is going to come from. So I knew I had to build this direction. The next closest dumping point is this lake here. But if I was going to build a pipe, a sewer this far out, I figured I might as well kill two birds with one stone. After all, the switches and endpoints and everything aren't free. So since I was basically going to need to build more than 2/3 of the way to Trois-Rivières, I thought, let's just build all the way to Trois-Rivières and simplify it that way and put a sewage line there. To be honest, there's an argument to be made that I should have done that for Quebec as well. And who knows, that may happen in the far future. Could be that this becomes the site of a large sewage treatment plant, and it could be that in the far future the entire region will all send its sewage right here to Trois-Rivières. But seeing as we're not doing any treatment yet, and I already have infrastructure planned over here in Abitibi, I may not do that, but we'll see. Is this under construction yet? Actually, I have got all these switches, and did I put a pump? Yeah, I may end up changing this. I may end up building a pipe, out this way instead. We'll have to see what the grade is like, because that's part of the issue. Here in Abitibi, we've got our intake pretty close to water level. So actually, I guess it doesn't hugely matter. But I just noticed that somewhere I put a switch was wrong because I needed a pump. Why did I need a pump here? Here I put a big ass pump, and that's going to require electricity. And so far over in Trois-Rivières, I didn't need to. So one of the ironic things about the way this works that I noticed with Montreal was that it's actually good to put your sewage tanks at a low point in the town. Why? I was doing some research, and this is because the game is coded to simulate the gravity to the houses, right? We don't simulate putting a pipe to every single house. We've got our substations, and they've got their range. But I was reading on the game's website the other day that actually, when the substations are calculating their range, they take into account the difference in height between them and the buildings. In other words, you can make your sewage flow uphill to a substation, but it won't go as far. Maybe we can see that if I go back and grab another one of these. If I put this up on the hill, the longest we're getting is about 300 meters. If I put it in the lower part of town, right here we're at 12 meters, 13 meters high. If we go to the middle of the town where it's only 10 meters, then it goes a bit further. Well, I say that, but I'm still seeing distances of only 320 meters. I guess here the longest is about 300. So I guess it is true. So it's a slight effect. But the irony is that if you place your sewage tank at a lower elevation, then you're going to need a pump somewhere else because it's probably going to pass through a higher elevation before it reaches its eventual endpoint. And so I think that's my new developing philosophy with the sewers. Out of town, I've gone out of my way to avoid the need for pumps. Switches, yes, switches are fine, but all of this is essentially gravity powered all the way to the discharge, right? Where I've put my switches, my pumps rather, are in the town where I needed a bit of an elevation boost to get out of the hole of being in the low part of the valley, raise it up a bit so it'll flow down. But I think this is actually ideal. I think I did this in Sherbrooke before, where I was dealing with a kind of complicated hill. And looking back on it, I don't think the solution in Sherbrooke was the most efficient. But regardless, I would way rather put my pumps out in the middle of the town where I'm going to supply everything with power anyway, right? If this pump doesn't have power, well, guess what? All the houses in the vicinity are probably going to be complaining that they don't have power either. So I'd rather do that and kill two birds with one stone and supply the power to the regions where it's going to be needed anyway and keep all my pumps there. Whereas all my long sewer lines to nowhere, I'd rather have them be gravity powered if at all possible. So with that being said, I'm going to take a short pause. I know the game is still paused, but we're going to see about some sewage lines. Construction has not started on this one from Quebec. So I am now thinking I might change my mind. I might leave the tanks where they are, actually. And I may just change the configuration a bit since none of this is under construction yet. And I may not go all the way to Abitibi where I somehow need power. I may actually route everything to Trois-Rivières already. We'll see. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, so we've planned the sewage for the city of Quebec here. And yeah, in the end I did decide I needed one little pump in town And unfortunately, we're going over a hill to get to Trois-Rivières. So there was an argument to be made to not go to Abitibi, but the way I had built it out to here, I was requiring a pump anyway. When if I had built it properly the first time, I wouldn't have needed that. But what I ended up doing, the efficiency I ended up finding going over this hill, is about that one single... Remember when we built the water infrastructure for here? Oh, it doesn't show it zoomed out anymore. The draw distance is too low. Anyway, around here, when we built the water infrastructure, Quebec's water is coming from Trois-Rivières. I think we still need to build the intake, but we're building a treatment plant here, and the intake is going to be this lake. So since I already had... Yeah, there's the intake right there. Since I've already got a water pipe going through here that was going to need pumps, well, if I'm going over a hill and I need a pump, I already am planning electrical infrastructure to deal with that. Now, there's no power line out to there yet, so that's an issue. And indeed, Trois-Rivières has no electricity, and I struggle to imagine how they're going to treat any drinking water when they don't have any electricity. But yeah, these are various construction issues we need to address. When more things are done in Sherbrooke, then I might start pushing my construction vehicles out a little further afield. So I should really let the game run a little now, but I just wanted to have some basics planned that our vehicles could start building. So I will push play, and I will just start fixing the missing footpaths everywhere. Okay, so construction continues in Sherbrooke at a bit of a glacial pace. To be honest, I'm biting my nails here because basic essential infrastructure just isn't getting built as fast as I'd like. And I'm wondering what the difference is. I'm throwing more vehicles at this town because it seems like Windsor in that northwest corner got a lot more built in less time, although it is closer to the border. It had a smaller network of infrastructure, right? The sewage line out to Lac de Montagne is just way too long. So I understand why some of this is taking very long for Sherbrooke, but I really need to accelerate stuff here so that I can use these vehicles to construct more infrastructure in the wider region. In particular power, because the closest power connection is so far, and in fact it's a bit of a mistake because I don't think that last power line, yeah, some of this power infrastructure was never completed by my temporary construction offices. So we will have to know when these are done. And in fact, I'm strongly tempted to plop a free construction office around here somewhere and just get things going on this end. At least get resources delivered, that sort of thing. Because it's a long drive. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm trying to think about what is most essential at this stage. It's gotta be a dumper. It's gotta be a dumper. That should assist with some of this. No construction completed, eh? Okay. Well, we just gotta be patient and wait. And are you completely full? You're actually completely full. Look at that. Okay. Okay, I might head up back to the northwest corner, see how things are progressing there. As soon as my principal sewage pipe or my store is completed, I will get notified, so we're not going to miss anything. And how are we doing here? Here we have unused vehicles. I don't know if that's a bad sign or a good sign. I guess we need more vehicles here. I guess that's what's going on. Obviously not open hulls, but look at all the projects I've got on the go. It has to be, there must be a bottleneck somewhere, and I'm guessing my bottleneck, maybe workers, maybe gravel. Yeah, let's start with that. And I really am trying to not spend all my money on equipment we don't need, but I have a paver and no roller. And I guess I might as well try to pave some roads in this town. That's also a potential bottleneck, big time. Didn't even notice. Not a single excavator. A lot of my projects involve digging, so it's, all these long sewers and what have you definitely need excavators. I bet you these will leave pretty promptly, actually. There we go. Both of them. Highly in demand. We found our bottleneck. For now, I'm not going to buy any more vehicles. I'm going to just let the good times roll as we head into September here. Oof, I'm worried about winter. I'm worried about winter and if everyone is going to freeze while they're starving and starve while they're freezing. We'll see. Because if I can't get a little school built, if I can't get a sewage discharge built, ain't no point in doing a heating plant. Ain't no point in doing a store. I don't know how people are going to not freeze in the wintertime. I guess the homes don't need it. I guess I'm still, this is one of my first times doing a randomly generated map where there's all these old style homes. So I'm not really that used to dealing with these pre-built houses. And I suppose they do heat themselves, don't they? Causing pollution, which we don't like. So they won't necessarily freeze, but I really question if I'm even going to get these same 10 shoppers when it's too cold, because I know that my shopping center needs heating. So I'm wondering how big of a priority is a little heating plant. If we have no water or power, it can't be that much of a priority, can it? And you must need a crane or something. Are you actually gaining? Or are you one of the ones that needed an excavator doing your groundworks there? Yeah, I've got all these workers on all these sites, but actually, I don't know if they're accomplishing much. Okay, they are accomplishing a little something. Maybe I should increase this a bit. Our population is just plummeting by the day. I'm just waiting for that first snowfall that kills our entire society. It could be just a month or two away. Okay, so the longest sewer pipe is actually complete here. Yeah, and where I see that I've got vehicles deployed, I'm generally going to make that higher priority because that's a bottleneck. I want that where I've got vehicles on site waiting for resources, I want that to be a higher priority to deliver resources versus somewhere else. And I guess I should go and do the same thing down in the other corner. In fact, let's first go to Quebec. And see how things are going here. What all have you added to your queue? These things only. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm wondering if I make this a higher priority. Just because it doesn't need many resources, but actually it's not going to matter because it needs concrete and I haven't got that here. So I may need to assign the other construction office to it, and I'm just not going to do that yet. I just cannot do that yet. There's too much going on. You know, maybe when we finally got a way to distribute bread to people, my goodness. Here, holy crap. Holy crap, 6,000 tons of gravel, eh? Oh, this will take forever. This will never be finished. This one little sewer. I guess it's not that little. Grr, Sherbrooke, why did my nice town close to the border have to be so far from the water? Oh my goodness. And 0 workers? I need to reduce this. I have 0 workers. Maybe there's no population in this town. Maybe that's why. That's totally why. Everyone has fled. There's no one around to build anything anymore. Shoot. Maybe that's why there's no glow in the windows anymore. So now I gotta spend money, on the worst possible thing. On more immigrants that will decay away. Oof. Yep. Identifying bottlenecks. That's kind of the name of the game right now. And it's real unfortunate. This is the syndrome our entire civilization is facing right now. I'm afraid to go into the nationwide population statistics. Last time I tempted fate by saying, oh, it's not a crash. It's a gradual decline. And actually, it's funny. It does seem to be leveling off a tiny bit. Maybe that's just because of the immigrants I brought. But no, last month looks like a crash. This year, maybe not so much. Let's take a look at the escapes and the deaths. Okay, the deaths are high but stable. Yeah, and it's the escapes that are trending upwards. 2,600 year to date, my goodness. I wish it wasn't so expensive to invite people back, but that's the thing. You really do want to create conditions in which people want to have babies and build child rearing infrastructure, because that is actually the cheap way of getting more people in this game. And it's, I say cheap, but you have to build an enormous amount of infrastructure. That's why that school that I'm building up in Windsor is so essential. If I can get that built and get at least one kindergarten built, then at least we'll have what we need for the ABC workers. Let me go back to population. Our basic education workers, which are needed for most workplaces. Nothing's going to work. Even construction sites, pretty much, that's what they need. So I need those. I'm going to need university educated workers as well. That's who works in the schools. That's who works in the hospitals. Things like that, as advanced production as well. But this is just tragic. I'm watching the whole republic decay before my eyes, and I'm gonna go ahead right now and say that Quebec, I'm surprised so many people are still there. I'm really surprised so many people are still here in Quebec, because it looks like they have been running away from Sherbrooke. But yeah, it's a bit shocking. Most of the small towns that don't have anything built, I don't expect there to be anyone left come February. It's really going to be where I have a store built, and it looks like this winter we might finally complete the store here in Sherbrooke. But yeah, I'm guessing we're going to crash all the way down to a few thousand, 5,000 maybe. Just tragic. I knew going on realistic mode it would be a little bit like a survival game, but I didn't realize to what point this really was going to be a hardcore survival game. There's always a bit of overlap in genre between resource management and survival, right? I mean, even in a lot of boring business games, you run out of money, you're bankrupt, and that's the same as the hardcore survival games running out of food. Here, we really are at risk of running out of both. And I might have made the rookie mistake of not counting every dollar in the very first month. I should have built construction offices in the very first month, loaded them up with as many vehicles as possible in the very first month. I thought I was being careful with my money. But, yeah, nothing we can do about it. Did someone's house burn down? Where is it? It's here. Nothing we can do about it. Let's see who still lives in this town. Not quite enough people here either. Are they going to the bus stop? So we've got a few workers in the bus stop. I might invite a few immigrants. And I'm kind of planning ahead by inviting these immigrants. They may not be absolutely essential right this minute, but these are workers with their clocks reset, basically, is the deal. So these workers, yes, they will decay away, but they essentially arrive at our republic with all their needs fulfilled. So especially the first couple of months, they'll be totally fine even if their needs aren't met. And it's really from about 3 months onward. Well, we saw that with our population statistics, right? If we go back to the escapes, there really weren't many in the first few months, right? We're here in September. Let me click on it. Right, we really didn't get much at all until April, May, and even then it's small. 174, boy, looking at those days through rose tinted glasses. That is emigration we could stomach, we could afford. 700 or 800 a month, we can't afford that. It's going to happen anyway, but I'm just, greedily close to where I've got infrastructure, where I've got a shop and a bus station. That's where I want to invite some new people so that when all the old people have fled, we still have some workers for our construction sites. And yeah, it's amazing. I'm just shocked by how much essential stuff we don't have. I need fire. I need healthcare. But we don't even have a school. We don't even have a kindergarten, right? This is gonna be tough. So, okay. Tis what it is. I don't even have a demolition office. I can't even bulldoze. I can't even delete. Oh. Oof. Well, at least the fall colors with this retexture mod are nice. But you know what, folks? I can't believe that after another episode, we still haven't got much built. Not even a shop here. I'm gonna have to repopulate this entire map. This is gonna become a ghost town map where I'm gonna need to start from scratch. I'm really only gonna save a couple of these little towns by the border, and everywhere else is going to die off. I can't believe it. Anyway, and this is a dilemma because I was kind of counting on some of those towns further inland. For example, Sherbrooke was supposed to get its water from Montreal, and Montreal might die out before that ever happens. But we may change our plans. We may end up building a well here or something. But yeah, I think I might just do this 1 footpath, but we're going to have to leave it there, folks, and come back another day to watch the tragic demise and die-off of our little Soviet-Canadian Republic here. Thanks for watching. Keep it here. I'm Mr. Squiggs.